Hello again, everybody. It's Michael here again with a supply and demand market report. Now looking at indices around the world. Let's again see if we can keep this video down to 10 minutes or under. That's the goal. All right. So we'll start with the NASDAQ, which, as you can see on your screens, has had a very, very strong move in the last week. Not helped in the least by the move in Nvidia with the latest craze of AI, because obviously the NASDAQ is heavily weighted in the technology side. I don't believe it has any financials in it, for example. So that is the best performing US index. And we can see that it's creating levels now. It's leaving levels behind. There are levels, as you can see on that daily chart over here, there are levels here that, we are watching. This is one that I was looking at. Prices teased me a little bit and didn't make it back and has just gone. But that was the level that I had planned to look at it. But what I was waiting for is what is happening now. So I still have that level as a level of interest, because when I was looking at it, I didn't have this pattern just yet. I had it circled. Now it's, boxed. And for those of you who've seen my previous videos, you know why it was not yet a level. It was because we didn't have two candles away from that level just yet. That move away and stay away idea hadn't fully formed yet. Now it has. So now we can proper put it on the radar. Okay, but it's moving out. As you can see, the NASDAQ has broken levels of supply. It's in an uptrend. So the primary focus will be looking for buys, trying to join this trend. There isn't, significant supply until around 15,400, but there will be, zigs and zags as we go up there. I'm not anticipating we're going to go straight up. We could. Nothing is impossible. It's just not probable, is what I would suggest. But let's say we've seen worse in the market, haven't we? So it is definitely possible that we, have another big week and we go up. So let's keep an eye on the NASDAQ, and looking at the S&P, not quite as strong. As you can see, it hasn't broken this supply. It is knocking on the door. All of this action below it is suspicious. And the hint here is, when it got to that level, rather than falling, it's been basing right underneath it. So anyone looking to sell based on that supply zone isn't getting the downward move that they would have expected. Rather, it's holding at that level. So it's with these indices, they're often not too far apart. One tends to drag the other. So with the NASDAQ showing a lot of strength over time, not necessarily immediately or in the same trading session, but over time, you might find the other sisters, and the Dow, and the Dow doesn't have any major computer thing in it, so it's probably lagging. It's not one that I chart, but I do chart the Russell, which we'll look at next. But for the S&P, it's still struggling up in here. It hasn't broken through its own supply. So really quickly compare that to that. You can see the difference. Okay, so not the greatest place just yet to be looking for longs because of where it's at, but the shorts aren't exactly having the greatest of times either. They keep trying to make something happen, but buyers keep stepping in. So it's a war zone right now on the S&P. Looking at the Russell now, this is the weaker sister, right? So this one is just basing. It's spending about a year in this box. I'm going to open up this chart to show you something. Be careful with this market when it bases like this. I'll give you an example. Look at when it based over here for about the same period as well, about a year. When it based, what did it do when it based there? Well, it brought in a lot of buyers as it broke out of that level. Let's actually make it, yeah, as it broke out of that level, got a lot of people interested on the long side, and then it quickly went down, making lower highs and lower lows. You can see the pattern it formed. So just be mindful of that Russell when she is forming these long bases. This could be the long base again because the NASDAQ is showing so much strength. This could be the mother of all bases that could carry us out in the long term. But wait, let it show you. Wait to see the whites of their eyes. No rush. Patience. Okay? Just be careful with it. And looking at Japan now. The strongest one of all. I believe this is all-time highs, at least for this broker. Yeah, so you can check that on the futures if it has more data. But looking at the Japanese, you can see again a market that bases and then breaks out. Those are what give you the biggest moves. When you have periods of basing, you often hear stay away. That's exactly the time to keep them on your radar when they're basing. That's a little tip for you, because out of these kind of bases, you get the big moves, whether up or down. Okay, so we're seeing it breaking above what were previous all-time highs and doing it in quite strong fashion. So that's good. That's definitely good. All right, you can see the imbalances here quite strong in the last 3 weeks. So a pullback to here is what we would be wanting. Whether we get it or not is another matter. All right, but buying it up here on smaller time frames, probably not a good idea. Or rather, I should say, it's just not the way that I trade. But I'm sure there are people who are buying it up here because, price is traded up there. It's just not the way that I trade. Okay, so yeah, that's the demand zone. There isn't any supply on this broker to the left. Even if there was, it wouldn't matter because we're waiting and hoping for a pullback, which we may or may not get. Let's go to Germany. So Germany is bumping its head against its all-time highs on this broker. Again, it might be different on your chart if you're looking at another data provider, but on this data provider, it's at the highest it's been. It's tiptoed above that level, but come back. But again, notice this is circled. This is again a market trying to produce an imbalance and immediately getting rejected, creating that sort of railroad track type of view, going up and immediately coming down. We didn't have the market accept this imbalance. You had the move away, you didn't have the stay away. So that was not so good. All right, so probably not a good idea. And you can see the selling coming in. If you look at here on the daily chart, you can see the selling coming in. Once we tiptoed above that all-time high, that was the selling that came into the market, removing demand zones and coming to this support level down in here. So be patient again. That's, I think, the second or third time I've used that phrase. Patience, let the setups happen. Let them set up and then look for your trade. Okay, but for now, nothing really to do. We need to see how it negotiates those highs. Sellers have shown up at that level. Whether they can continue to exert themselves is another matter. We're going to be looking for demand levels below. This would be the next obvious one for us to see what happens up there. Okay, and then we'll go to Australia, another one that's doing the box type of move. So trying to get anything going has been difficult. Demand has broken, supply has broken. It's all quite directionless. So it's a market that's in a basing period, just waiting to see what happens out of the base. It's near its, let's open that up. It's near its, all-time highs, which probably be this one around there, but they're all in and around the same price anyway. And it's holding up there, sort of basing, whether that's going to be a distributive pattern and then prices fall out of that box or they rise, time will tell. But for now, nothing to really do on these time frames. In the short term, I'm sure selling high, buying low is going on. I mean, we can clearly see it's going on from even just the price action. Quick in and out trades. Okay, and finally we've got the FTSE 100, and that market is beginning to react off of supply. On the weekly chart, you can see the strong quality imbalance that removed demand, left supply up there. Prices rallied back over 5 or 6 weeks, and it's beginning to show some reaction. It's not forceful yet, but it definitely has moved away from that level, from around 7,900 down over 300 points. Looking at it closer, although it's moved and it's taken out demand levels, it really hasn't produced the quality to allow the trader to join. If you were timing on smaller time frames, there was a trade up here on the 4-hour. But looking at the daily, the trader using the daily hasn't quite had a quality opportunity just yet. Just because, as I said, and I could see it on the weekly already, the move away hasn't been violent. It's been quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Thoughtful, quite deliberate, if you like, slow, and should we go down, should we not, that kind of move. We've started to see some more exuberance, but again, it's not significant. All right. So again, I think I made it below 10, but you guys can tell me if it was below in the comments. If you like these videos, if you prefer this format where it's shorter, please comment, like the video, and maybe we use this format of shorter videos going forward. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. Speak to you again soon. Bye for now.